So first thing we're going to do today, boys and girls, as part of our reading lesson is we are going to play a game of Spot the Difference. I'm going to give you 1 minute just now to try and spot as many differences as you can. On you go. Okay, now you may still be spotting, but I'm just going to select a few just now then, boys and girls, just to show you. So I spotted that there was a leaf in this one, it's not in this one. There was an acorn here, there's not an acorn here. The snake's little tongue is out here, it's not out here. Owl has glasses on, he's not got glasses, okay? You may spot a few more just now. But the reason why we are doing Spot the Difference just now is because today's lesson is about comparing and contrasting, boys and girls. And that was essentially what you just did there. You compared those two pictures and you had to contrast them, see what the differences were and what the similarities were between them. So that's what today's reading lesson is about. So we are learning how to compare and contrast. And we have 4 steps, boys and girls, today that help us to compare and contrast something. These are called the thinking process, but also our success criteria. So step 1 is to observe something. What does it mean to observe something, do you think? Have you heard that word before? Could you turn to somebody at home or have a think to yourself, what does the word observe mean? So it says you can learn a lot about just observing something. So looking at something, watching something closely and forming some opinions or ideas about that thing. Noticing things. So step 1 then, let's look at these 2 famous characters. We have Superman on the left hand side and we have Batman on the right. And we're just going to spend 30 seconds just now observing. So just looking at them, all the way from the bottom of their feet to the top of their head, and every single detail that you notice about either of these characters. So notice, what are they wearing? How are they standing? What do they physically look like? What is special about their outfit? Okay, so now we've had time to observe these 2 characters carefully. You can pause the video and look even more if you would like to. And step 2 then, boys and girls, is to notice the similarities. What does the word similar mean? If something is similar or has a similarity, what does that mean? The picture above will give you a little clue. If something is similar, it means it's the same. So I've chosen these little babies because they're twins. They look really, really similar. They look really alike each other. So they look the same as each other. So we have to notice now any similarities between Superman and Batman. And I'm going to list a few just now. You might want to say some and pause the video and tell the person next to you some that you've noticed. So you may have noticed they both have on a cape. They both have a logo on their chest. So that's their physical things that they look like. There's lots more that you can decide. What about what they actually do? They are both superheroes, of course. So they both help people. So there are some similarities. So let's move on now, boys and girls, to the next part then. Step 3 is we have to notice the differences this time. So what are differences? If somebody is different or 2 things are different from each other, what does that mean? So that's like the opposite of being similar or the same. It's if they're different from each other, they're not the same as each other. So let's take a little look then and see if we can spot some differences this time. So there's a difference in the colour of their outfits, isn't there? Batman's is very dark, Superman's is quite bright. Batman has on a little mask. I don't know if you know a lot about Superman as well, but he can fly. Whereas Batman, he can't really fly. Naturally, he might have a gadget that helps him, but he can't fly. Superman was actually born, he has those powers. With powers. But Batman doesn't actually have any powers, he just has kind of gadgets and things that help him. He's really strong and things, he's really fit, but he doesn't actually have any particular powers as such. Okay, so there's some differences for you about these two. And the last step then to compare and contrast is to then summarise what we've just talked about. So we talked about summary and most of our thinking readers so far. So to summarise something is to sum it up, give you the short version. So I've given you an example sentence and you can use this example sentence in your task. So step 4, summarising. A similarity I noticed about both characters was... What did I say I noticed about both characters? That they were... superheroes? A difference I noticed between both characters was Superman had powers whereas Batman did not. Okay? So now, boys and girls, looking at your task, you have to go through those 4 steps. So step number 1 is you have to observe a character, 2 characters in your own book. Step 2 is you have to notice the similarities between those characters. You'll notice that's there for you to fill in. Step 3, you have to talk about the differences between those characters, in particular their physical appearance, their personality, and you can think of one of your own as well to compare. And step 4, you have to then summarise what you have noticed about those people. Okay, so choose 2 different characters from your story, write their names next to character 1, character 2, observe them, think about them, write their similarities, write their differences, and then summarise that into one sentence.